My name is Layla Avila, and I'm the Vice President of the New Teacher Project. We are a national nonprofit dedicated to ending the injustice of educational inequality by ensuring that poor and minority kids in this country get excellent teachers. The New Teacher Project was started in 1997 by teachers in order to help school districts and states solve their teacher quality challenges. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to address the committee today. We all know from our own lives, and we all know from the growing body of research, that teachers have a greater impact on educational learning, on outcomes, much more so than a lot of other school factors. The New Teacher Project helps school districts with teacher effectiveness by developing scalable solutions that will allow them to recruit and certify teachers, but also to help them dismantle some of the policy barriers that currently prevent them from providing poor and minority kids in this country the very best teachers. Today, we work with some of the highest need school districts across this country, school districts like the Oakland Unified School District, like the Recovery School District in New Orleans, in Chicago, and New York City. In the last 12 years, the New Teacher Project has recruited and trained more than 33,000 teachers across this country. These are teachers that have had an impact on an estimated 4.2 million students. But today I also want to bring my own personal experience in addition to my professional experience. I bring the experience of growing up in a poor family from an immigrant family and being raised by a single mother who was also disabled. We lived in East Los Angeles, California. And growing up, I remember hearing that not much was to be expected of me because I didn't have a father and because I was a girl. And in an area where the neighborhood schools see educational outcomes where as many as 1 out of 2 kids drop out of high school, the odds were really stacked against me. But despite very challenging circumstances, I was able to attend both Columbia and Harvard universities. And I have no doubt in my mind that I owe my success to a small group of highly effective teachers, like Miss Shell Simmers, who when I was in the 6th grade was already teaching me algebra, and like Mr. Mitchell, who when I was 13 years old said to me, I'm going to send you to a prep school, and by doing so, you're going to have your pick as to which college you want to attend. I am certain that these teachers put me on a different path in life. And the problem is that my story is really the exception. I was one of the lucky ones, as I often hear people say. And in a system where we treat teachers like interchangeable parts, there are millions of kids across this country who don't get teachers that are going to give them a fair shot at a brighter future. And we all know that teachers matter. We all know that they change lives every single day. We know that they have the power to raise kids like me out of poverty. And so, based on our recent report, The Widget Effect, we asked ourselves the following question. If teachers are so important, then why don't we act like it? In The Widget Effect, we found that the underlying reason is because we treat teachers like widgets, like one teacher is just as good as another, even though all the research tells us just the opposite. In this report, we used methodology that is slightly different than what you see in another educational report. We actually assembled an advisory panel of more than 80 stakeholders across 4 different school districts, 4 different states, and we surveyed more than 12,000 teachers. We reviewed more than 40,000 educational evaluation reports, and we did this in 12 school districts. Now, the results were absolutely astounding. The results were the following. Number 1, all teachers were either rated as good or great. Less than 1% of teachers across these 12 school districts received an unsatisfactory rating, even though year after year, there were students who were not meeting even basic academic standards. Number 2, excellence is going unrecognized in our schools. When you have a system where you're rating everyone either good or great, you're failing to identify your truly outstanding teachers. In fact, we treat our outstanding teachers just like we treat our ineffective teachers. Number 3, the professional development that we currently offer is not very useful. 3 out of 4 teachers said that they weren't giving any meaningful feedback to really improve their performance. Number 4, novice teachers are ignored. Number 5, poor performance is being unaddressed right now. In half of the districts that we studied, not a single district had dismissed a tenured teacher in the last 5 years. And this is even though the majority of teachers said that there was a poor performing tenured teacher in their school right now. Now, we know what it takes to change child's lives. We know that we need to, number one, create evaluations where we are truly differentiating our great teachers from our good from our fair, and our fair from our poor. We need to create fair, accurate, and evaluations that really are rigorous. We need to ensure that teacher effectiveness actually matters by making sure that the data that we collect is actually informing practice, like how we train, who we retain, and how we pay teachers. And we need to address poor performance because the stakes are too high not to. So in closing, we cannot provide effective teachers to each student if we don't know who our most effective teachers are. I urge you to implement our recommendations as swiftly and to the greatest extent possible. Thank you.